Freeze right there and hold on to your drinks because the digital landscape is officially burning down to the crisp. You thought you had Hollywood's favorite box office powerhouse completely figured out, didn't you? We all assumed the narrative was locked in stone after his cinematic triumphs and a quiet retreat from the public eye. But what if I told you that the man who brought Adonis Creed to life just dropped a bombshell that nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, saw coming? Is this the ultimate brand betrayal, or simply the most chaotic romantic plot twist in modern entertainment history? We are digging deep into the encrypted whispers, the blackened windows of luxury SUVs, and a digital trail of breadcrumbs that has the entire internet completely spiraling. How did a simple rumor turn into a full-scale cultural civil war overnight? Why is the fanbase fracturing into absolute chaos? And who is the mystery figure making Hollywood's most guarded star move like a man who just unlocked a brand new cheat code? Strap in because we are diving headfirst into the madness, the mystery, and the unfiltered pandemonium of Michael B. Jordan's wild new era. Better grab something cold to sip on, because this drama is scalding hot. To understand what is actually going on, we have to look straight at the epicenter of Hollywood and examine the tectonic shifts that have taken over the digital landscape. For years, Michael B. Jordan was marketed to the public as the ultimate safe bet, the clean-cut boy next door who avoided the standard celebrity pitfalls and kept his personal life locked away behind heavy iron gates. But when you climb to the absolute top of the mountain and bag the most prestigious trophies in the entire industry, your every single move becomes a massive public manifesto. The quiet period following his very public breakup with Lori Harvey was never just a simple phase of heartbreak or healing. It was the launching pad for a total, calculated corporate and personal brand overhaul. We are discussing a man who has spent his entire existence in the spotlight, feeling the immense pressure to prove his worth to the communities and the industries that shaped him. Insiders from private inner circles are now whispering that the dramatic transformation we are witnessing today is the direct result of a calculated pivot away from the usual Hollywood dating markets. Sources claim that after navigating the heavy glare of high-profile relationships, a silent oath was made to never let public scrutiny dictate his personal happiness again. Instead of hunting for ordinary romance, whispers on the pavement claim he has been exploring exclusive, high-security member-only clubs across international capitals, rubbing shoulders with a very specific tier of global power brokers. When cameras suddenly spotted him in high-visibility hotspots like Giorgio Baldi in Malibu, it was zero accident. That venue is the ultimate stage for when you want the world to talk while pretending you are dodging the spotlight. Witnesses near exclusive pre-show events and stage walkthroughs before major award shows swore they saw him locked in deep conversations with mysterious figures in the shadows. Production crews working behind the scenes on his latest blockbuster sets have leaked that the atmosphere surrounding his trailers has completely changed. There are whispers of mysterious companions holding high-level security clearances, moving like phantoms behind the scenes of multi-million-dollar productions. The public feedback to these shifting dynamics has been an absolute eruption of clashing opinions across social media. On one side, loyal fans believe he has earned the right to mingle in elite international circles, viewing any new companion as an elegant match for his fresh global prestige. But on the flip side, the venom on the timeline is intense, with critics accusing him of abandoning his grassroots identity the second he gripped that Golden Academy Award in his palm. The web is constantly drowning in long essays and viral threads, debating whether a massive star's personal choices are somehow a betrayal of his cultural roots. Yet Michael B. Jordan is not blinking under the pressure, operating with an icy, premeditated focus that proves he is playing chess while the internet is playing checkers. He is shedding the friendly, accessible image that tried to please everyone, transforming instead into an untouchable global titan who recognizes that his influence is a powerful currency. The leaked files and unverified management memos floating around T-pages suggest a deliberate strategy to market him as a post-racial international icon who outgrows traditional boxes. But this aggressive shift comes at a massive social price, because the neighborhoods that birthed his career are feeling a sharp sting of disconnect. The timing of every public appearance feels too surgical, and the silence from his core public relations team is too pointed, fueling endless speculation that every move is part of a grander branding scheme. While he enjoys top-shelf luxury and private aviation, everyday followers are left arguing whether this evolution is a masterclass in perception control or a tragic detachment from reality. As these rumors continue to spread like wildfire across TikTok and X, the narrative only grows more complex and chaotic, drawing millions into a relentless cycle of digital debate that shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. The financial and operational machinery driving this new era goes far beyond simple dinner dates and red carpet appearances, plunging deep into the murky waters of shadow accounts and international power brokers. Whispers from the high-stakes world of elite talent management suggest that Michael B. Jordan has enlisted specialized international fixers whose sole job is to orchestrate prestige transitions for A-list stars. These are the shadowy architects who dictate which exclusive restaurants to frequent, which global alliances to form, and which high-net-worth circles will instantly inflate a celebrity's global stock. Industry insiders claim that his recent high-profile dinner sightings were meticulously timed handoffs designed to test public sentiment and gauge how much shock value his new direction could handle. While the masses are glued to romance speculation, corporate strategists behind the scenes are allegedly chasing massive cross-border synergies and capital mergers. Leaked industry chatter hints at pipeline connections linking his production house with massive overseas markets that have traditionally remained closed to Western actors. The spending patterns associated with this fresh epoch are nothing short of staggering, featuring private estates secured for months in exclusive international enclaves for confidential creative summits. Ghost sources from luxury jewelry districts in Manhattan have even leaked that representatives for the star have been quietly scouting rare, royal-grade stones usually reserved for European royalty. This is not the casual behavior of a man simply hanging out with a new acquaintance, but rather the calculated groundwork for an expanding global empire. Naturally, public reactions have oscillated between total horror and aggressive defense, as supporters and detractors wage digital warfare over his changing persona. Social media feeds are currently flooded with side-by-side comparisons of his old, approachable interview style versus his current chilly, boardroom-ready aura. Die-hard supporters argue that he owes nothing to anyone and has every right to scale the highest peaks of international business and personal happiness. Conversely, critics pull up archived clips and past interviews, accusing him of systematically scrubbing his relatable image to fit into elite spaces where cultural authenticity takes a backseat to profit margins. Whispers of loyalty tests administered to his inner circle have only added fuel to the fire, with rumors alleging that fake leaks were deliberately fed to associates to weed out disloyal team members. The debate has morphed into a broader cultural argument about whether achieving supreme wealth and global status inevitably requires a star to sever ties with the community that carried them to the top. As the financial stakes grow larger and the international business deals multiply, the boundary between Michael B. Jordan the artist and Michael B. Jordan the corporate entity becomes increasingly blurred. Government agencies and industry watchdogs are reportedly keeping a close eye on the influx of foreign capital supporting major Hollywood crossover projects, adding an extra layer of tension to an already volatile situation. Every new photograph, every unverified DM leak, and every whispered rumor is meticulously dissected by millions of digital sleuths looking for cracks in his armor. Yet he continues to navigate the chaos with calculated silence and icy indifference, proving that he is more than willing to absorb the public backlash, if it means securing his place among the global elite. The mounting pressure is now reaching a critical breaking point, threatening to trigger severe institutional probes, legal headaches, and unprecedented public fallout for his carefully curated empire. Major industry guilds and financial analysts are reportedly whispering about potential background audits into the complex funding structures behind his upcoming international ventures. If the persistent rumors regarding shadow financial partnerships and brokered corporate unions hold any weight, he could soon find himself facing a major regulatory nightmare rather than simple tabloid gossip. Grassroots online movements are already organizing targeted boycotts of his future film projects, warning that fans will no longer support stars who use their cultural base merely as a stepping stone to global elitism. Inside his own production company, the internal friction is palpable, with reliable sources reporting heated arguments between the actor and veteran advisors who fear he is burning bridges he will desperately need later. Major luxury brands and high-end sponsors who once viewed him as the safest, most bankable face in Hollywood are reportedly hitting the pause button on multi-million-dollar deals while they monitor how the public outrage plays out. The psychological toll on his core fanbase is perhaps the most profound casualty of this entire saga. as a whole generation of young admirers watches their ultimate blueprint for disciplined success seemingly pivot toward unbridled corporate ambition. Industry pundits are frantically debating whether his team is currently drafting a major damage control press tour or preparing a heartfelt public statement to soothe the enraged masses. However, media experts warn that a standard PR apology will no longer suffice, because once public trust is shattered by the perception of calculated betrayal, it is nearly impossible to win back. The irony of the entire situation is striking, as a man who spent his career fighting against being labeled rigid has now inadvertently walked headfirst into a full-blown villain narrative in the court of public opinion. Whether these explosive rumors are entirely manufactured fabrications or the smoke signals of a genuine seismic shift in his life, the damage to his public aura is already visible. The digital mob remains unforgiving, relentlessly recycling viral memes and hostile commentary to ensure his name stays tied to controversy. As we stand on the brink of whatever comes next, one harsh reality remains entirely clear. The old version of Michael B. Jordan, the relatable hometown hero we thought we knew, has been completely erased and replaced by an untouchable global titan playing a high-stakes game. The investigations will continue, the anonymous sources will keep leaking, and the public will keep watching with bated breath to see if his grand empire stands tall or crumbles under the weight of its own ambition. The machinery of modern celebrity destruction does not rest, and neither does the relentless digital mob that feeds on every single pixel of unverified data. As the dust from the initial rumors began to settle across social media, a fresh wave of leaked documents and anonymous whistleblower claims flooded the dark corners of the internet. These unverified files painted a picture of a man entirely consumed by his own transition from a mainstream movie star into an isolated global monarch. Insiders who claimed to have worked within his inner circle started leaking text messages, call logs, and private itineraries that supposedly detailed his secret international movements. According to these dubious sources, Michael B. Jordan had completely cut off contact with his longtime childhood friends and local associates from his hometown of Newark. The narrative being spun by the gossip mill was that he viewed his past life as a liability, a dusty chapter of his autobiography that needed to be surgically excised for international appeal. We were fed dramatic accounts of late-night strategy sessions where high-priced public relations consultants allegedly mapped out his rebranding down to the exact millimeter. They wanted him to project an aura of cold, untouchable majesty, stripping away every ounce of the warm, approachable charm that originally won over millions of fans. Every red carpet appearance was reportedly scrutinized by image architects who dictated his posture, his facial expressions, and even the exact seconds he was allowed to smile for the cameras. The public was told that his silence in the face of mounting criticism was not a sign of peace, but rather a calculated form of psychological warfare against his own fan base. And then there were the persistent financial rumors that made the romantic speculations look like child's play. Shadowy blogs began publishing wild claims about multi-million-dollar offshore accounts utilized to fund exclusive properties in Tokyo, London, and Zurich. The gossip channels insisted that these luxury purchases were not being made with standard Hollywood box office checks, but through mysterious corporate entities backed by foreign conglomerates. If you believe the internet sleuths, Michael B. Jordan was no longer just an actor collecting residuals. He was a silent partner in a massive geopolitical entertainment syndicate. Of course, none of these claims came with actual receipts or verifiable proof, but in the fast-paced ecosystem of viral outrage, truth was entirely secondary to entertainment value. People did not care whether the documents were real or forged. They simply wanted fuel for their pre-existing biases and ammunition for their endless comment section wars. Supporters fought valiantly to debunk the fabricated leaks, pointing out glaring inconsistencies in the dates, the locations, and the supposed insider language used in the texts. They argued that it took a truly pathetic level of desperation to manufacture such malicious falsehoods about a man who simply wanted to enjoy his success in peace. Yet, the detractors doubled down, treating every unverified screenshot as absolute gospel, and using it to validate their narrative of ultimate cultural betrayal. The polarization reached a fever pitch when self-proclaimed industry insiders started going live on TikTok to dissect his body language during public outings with microscope-like precision. They claimed his posture screamed arrogance, that his gaze was calculating, and that every breath he took was pre-programmed to maximize his global market valuation. It was a masterclass in mass psychological projection, where the audience took a successful black man, stripped away his humanity, and turned him into a fictional villain of their own creation. The irony was thick enough to cut with a knife, as the same internet users who once demanded that black actors achieve generational wealth and global power were now punishing him for actually doing it. They wanted him to remain accessible, humble, and endlessly indebted to the community that watched him rise from local television screens to blockbuster cinematic glory. Instead, he chose the path of ruthless ambition, locking his inner circle, raising his walls, and refusing to pounce on every single fake controversy manufactured by bored bloggers. This refusal to play the traditional public relations apology game drove the internet absolute mad, fueling an endless cycle of toxic speculation and viral backlash. As the weeks dragged on, the focus shifted from simple romantic hearsay to a full-blown interrogation of his entire career trajectory and his ultimate goals for the future. Every past interview he ever gave was dragged out of the digital archives, parsed, twisted, and weaponized against him to prove that he was always plotting this grand escape. Comedians turned the situation into viral skits, influencers built entire YouTube careers off daily updates, and dedicated fan pages dissolved overnight in bitter waves of disappointment. Yet, through all of this deafening noise, Michael B. Jordan remained an absolute ghost, refusing to dignify the circus with a single tweet, interview, or official statement. His silence became his ultimate weapon, a freezing wall of indifference that drove the gossip mongers completely insane because they could not get the reaction they desperately craved. They wanted him to crack under the pressure, to issue an emotional statement, or to slip up and reveal his frustration to a prying camera lens. Instead, he gave them nothing, continuing to move with the icy precision of a chess grandmaster who knew that time and success would eventually wash away the temporary noise. The strategy was brilliant, even if it came at the steep cost of temporary public goodwill, because in the ruthless arena of modern entertainment, staying talked about is the ultimate currency. Whether the public loved him or hated him, they were still talking about him, still clicking on his name, and still driving his digital engagement numbers straight through the roof. The invisible machinery behind his brand understood something profound about human psychology. Controversy creates cash, and outrage is just another word for free marketing. While everyday users tore each other apart in brutal comment section brawls, the corporate entities backing his production house were quietly expanding their global footprint across multiple continents. The sheer audacity of the operation left industry observers simultaneously horrified and deeply impressed by the cold, calculated efficiency of his modern Hollywood reinvention. We were watching the live dismantling of a traditional celebrity archetype and the aggressive birth of an entirely new kind of global, post-cultural entertainment titan. And as this chapter of the saga reached its boiling point, the underground whispers began hinting at an even darker, more complicated phase of the investigation yet to come. Sources started whispering about legal threats, quiet cease and desist letters sent to aggressive T pages, and potential regulatory investigations into overseas funding streams. The stakes were no longer just about hurt feelings on social media or broken parasocial attachments. They were touching upon the cold, hard realities of international corporate law. If there was even a shred of truth to the rumors that his expansion involved questionable financial maneuvers, the fallout could threaten the very empire he worked so hard to build. The tension in the digital space was palpable, hanging like a heavy storm cloud over an industry waiting for the other shoe to drop with catastrophic global impact. The final chapter of this unfolding saga brings us right to the terrifying edge of total institutional collapse and financial reckoning. When you scale the dizzying heights of global entertainment and start playing with international capital, the rules of the game change forever. The whispers circulating through high-stakes legal circles suggest that the scrutiny surrounding Michael B. Jordan's expanding empire is moving past internet gossip. Federal and international regulatory bodies are reportedly casting a suspicious eye toward the complex financial structures funding his multi-continent ventures. If the unverified rumors of shadow accounts and foreign corporate backing hold any legal substance, he could face intense scrutiny. We are no longer discussing hurt feelings on social media or angry fans canceling their digital subscriptions to his upcoming cinematic releases. We are looking at potential forensic audits, quiet subpoenas, and corporate restructuring that could strip away the very mogul status he fought to achieve. Inside his Los Angeles headquarters, The atmosphere is reportedly suffocating, marked by closed-door meetings and whispered warnings from panicked financial advisors. Veteran executives who helped guide his early career are allegedly begging him to dial back the aggressive international positioning and repair his fractured domestic base. They argue that no amount of foreign market dominance can compensate for losing the foundational loyalty of the audience that carried him to cinematic stardom. Yet, reports from his inner circle indicate that he is pushing forward with absolute defiance, refusing to let external panic dictate his grand corporate vision. The grassroots boycotts organized by disgruntled fans online are beginning to make their presence felt in early box office projections and streaming metrics. While these digital protests might not completely derail a multi-million-dollar blockbuster, they create a toxic cloud of negative PR that scares away mainstream sponsors. Luxury fashion houses and prestige automotive brands that once lined up to sign him to lucrative endorsement contracts are currently letting existing deals quietly expire. They are terrified that the persistent sellout narrative and the toxic public backlash will stick to their own high-end products and damage their global prestige. The financial loss from these paused sponsorships runs into the millions, representing a very real, tangible cost to his aggressive rebranding strategy. It is a harsh reminder that in the cold calculus of modern corporate capitalism, perception is deeply intertwined with profitability and bottom-line survival. The psychological toll on his Day One supporters has also triggered a permanent shift in how the public views his once untouchable cultural hero status. Young men and aspiring creatives who used to look up to him as the ultimate blueprint for authentic, disciplined success now view his evolution with profound disillusionment. They see a cautionary tale of a man who achieved everything he ever wanted, only to realize that the summit of success can be a desperately lonely place. The internet detectives and viral tea pages are continuing to dig through public filings, corporate registries, and flight logs in search of smoking guns. Every new piece of data, whether legitimate or entirely fabricated, is weaponized by the digital mob to keep the pressure cooker at maximum temperature. Even his most trusted PR handlers seem to be struggling to contain the narrative, caught between trying to humanize him and maintaining the untouchable deity image. Rumors of a heavily scripted damage control interview are constantly swirling, though insiders claim his camp is too proud to officially beg for public forgiveness. After all, apologizing would mean admitting fault, and in the universe of global titans, weakness is the one luxury you can never afford to display. So the strategy remains a stubborn, freezing silence, punctuated only by rare, heavily staged public sightings designed to project an aura of unshakable confidence. We are watching a real-time case study in how a megastar attempts to outrun his own cultural shadow by flying faster, spending larger, and building higher walls. Whether this high-stakes gamble will result in a legendary triumph or a catastrophic corporate implosion is a question only time and future audits will answer. What remains entirely certain is that the old Michael B. Jordan is gone for good, buried beneath layers of global ambition, corporate mergers, and controversy. The boy from Newark who just wanted to act has been permanently replaced by an international CEO playing a high-stakes poker game with his entire legacy. As the dust eventually settles on this chaotic chapter, the entertainment industry will be forced to reevaluate the true cost of chasing cross-cultural dominance. Will history remember him as a visionary genius who shattered the restrictive boxes Hollywood tried to force him into, or as a cautionary tale of corporate greed? The receipts are still being analyzed, the auditors are still reviewing the ledgers, and the internet comment sections are still burning with unfiltered rage and debate. The spotlight has never burned hotter, and every single step he takes from this moment forward will be watched by millions of eager, unforgiving eyes. The grand blueprint has been executed, the old bridges have been intentionally burned, and the new empire stands tall amidst a raging storm of public controversy. Whether that empire will endure or collapse under the heavy weight of its own ambition is the ultimate mystery hanging over Tinseltown today. And as we finally close the book on this massive investigative deep dive, the final verdict rests entirely on how much of your own trust you are willing to trade. Are you ready to watch the rest of this corporate drama unfold? Or are you stepping off the hype train before the whole structure comes crashing down? Drop your raw, unfiltered thoughts in the comments right now, hit that subscribe button, and stay locked in because the truth is out there waiting. The final verdict is entirely up to you. Is Michael B. Jordan a brilliant mastermind simply outgrowing a Hollywood box that was always too small for his massive ambitions? Or is this the ultimate tragedy of a man reaching the absolute peak, only to forget the language of the people who helped him climb? The receipts are live, the internet is completely divided, and the global chess game is moving faster than ever. We want to see the comment section absolutely erupting with your raw, unfiltered truth right now. Did Lori Harvey truly fumble the bag of the century, or did she dodge a corporate merger disguised as a romance? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button and subscribe right now, so you never miss another deep dive investigation into the wildest secrets of Tinseltown.